Welcome back, Nap Trappers. Hi, Beck.
Hey, Sally. Welcome back, Nap Trappers.
All right, what icebreaker have you got for us today? Everyone learned about our
Oh,
breakfast preferences last time. What have you got for us?
okay. I would like to know, would you prefer to go to a movie of a nighttime or go out for dinner of a nighttime?
Oh, food is my love language. I'm choosing
Mm.
food and I know you can get food at the movies, but that's not the same. I'd like to go and wine and dine. I actually will fall asleep. The movies
Yeah.
don't do it for me at all. But if you ask my husband, he's a movie buff. He would love to do date night at the movies. Um, I
I
need to
guess you
go
can
to a
combine it, can't you? I guess you can go out for dinner and
Oh,
then
I
a
know, but then it
movie.
gets so late. You forget that I'm asleep
That's true.
Monday to
Yeah.
Friday at 9:50.
Yeah. And, the one thing about going to the movies is that you probably can't have a couple of wines, with dinner because then you're going to fall
Mm.
asleep.
Then I'm going to
So,
fall asleep. And I don't know, movies are really long.
mm,
I'll choose dinner over the movies anytime. We actually used to go to this great little local cinema in Yarraville, if anyone's in Melbourne, called the Sun Theatre before our children were born. And we used to go on like cheap Mondays or something at
mm.
early because we didn't have children. And I used to have a glass of champagne and you could sit on the
Oh, very
couch and
nice.
watch the movie. So I could do
Yeah.
that, but if it just comes down to movie or I'm going to a new restaurant
Mm.
anytime.
I feel like they don't make movies like they used to anymore anyway. So there's very rarely anything that comes out that I hear about that I would like to go and see. I think the
Mm.
last movie that Ben and I went to see was like the prequel to The Sopranos, and it was super disappointing.
Oh.
And so we had a couple of cocktails afterwards. I think, God, it must have been an early
Mm.
movie sitting, to be honest, because yeah, we don't really like a late night either. Um, Nanas, such nanas.
Nanas. There's a
But I
reason why
do
we're
love
sleep
going out.
consultants.
Yeah, I love going out for dinner as well,
I
especially if
love
we
going
can
out for dinner.
get a taxi or an Uber home and that sort of thing, so you can actually unwind and have a couple of glasses with your dinner without
Well, if
thinking
anyone's
someone's a
listening,
deso.
here is a fun fact
Mm.
that Beck and I have never actually met
Oh
in real life,
yes, yes.
in
Well, it feels like
person.
we're like joined at the hip.
I just assume you're like my sister. Haven't I just always known you? But no, we haven't. So I'm just thinking the reason I say that is I'm thinking, okay, we need a girls' night. We need the spicy
Mm,
mugs. We
yes.
need to go out for dinner. And look, maybe we should even do a nap trapped meet and greet. I don't know. Do we have
Oh my God,
any
yes.
fads? That's probably really tooting our own horn. But maybe we should do a early dinner. I know you've all got babies.
Yes.
And we don't even have to talk about baby sleep. You can tell your partners, oh, I'm off to a masterclass on catnapping. And really, we're just going to be serving up the spicy mugs and
Oh my
all the
God.
gossip.
I'd love that. We could even entice our listeners to come and have a free hat. Like we might hand out some hats. Oh my God.
Here
Or
we
play
go.
some
I mean,
games
what
and the
a
winner gets
lure.
a cap.
What, do more of these icebreaker games?
Yeah. No, I'd love to do that. That would be so fun. And actually any excuse to get to Melbourne because who doesn't love a little bit of Melbourne time?
Oh,
So much
yeah.
fun.
But I'll also meet you in Sydney. Well, we just tag team.
Or you could come to Port Macquarie. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, I don't know why I said Sydney. I was just thinking about the restaurants. I was thinking like the nightlife
maybe it's the halfway
scene.
point.
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
the
yeah.
nightlife. Yeah, true.
Well, I mean,
There's not a lot of
nightlife, the
nightlife here at Port
early.
Macquarie.
No, I didn't think
Oh,
so.
yeah, like up to 9 o'clock kind of
Yeah,
scene.
yeah. That's yeah.
Family.
And
family time.
I am one of those people that even if we did a meet and greet, if it got to like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'd be like, I'm out. You guys
We're
carry
wrapping
on.
this up. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll see yourselves out, won't you?
And then you just slink off into the background. Well, lock it in, people.
Slinky
It's going to
Malinky.
happen at some point. So we would love some feedback on whether or not that would be your jam.
Yeah,
So cool.
we want to hang out, and then that way I could meet Beck at the same time that you all meet Beck.
And I could maybe get out of like my sweatshirts and stuff and like actually wear something nice, do my hair.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh!
I
All
mean,
right,
that would
this is
be,
happening.
you might not recognize me.
Chances are I won't. I don't even know how tall you are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look, everything will be a surprise.
Because that's something
won't
I
it?
need to know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the next icebreaker. Beck, in centimeters, how tall are you?
Tune in
And then I'm
next
going to
week.
cut out a life size.
Oh, do you know I actually have a life-size cutout of me? This is a
Oh,
fun fact
you've been
because
holding out on me.
yeah, like during COVID, I couldn't get back to New Zealand for my best friend's 40th. So I actually had like a graphic designer over there. I sent through all my measurements and everything, and then a photo. How funny is this? A photo of my face on Gwen Stefani's body, and they did a
Hot.
life-size cutout. And then she went to the 40th and to
That's so
wineries.
funny.
She went in the back of the boot for like lots
God,
of
she's so
taxis.
popular.
She went everywhere. She still makes an entrance over there too. So,
That's
so
so
yeah, I
funny.
could fly her
Okay,
over.
well, yeah, I was going to say, if you're ever not available for the pod, we all
I
know
sent her.
I can
Yeah.
chat enough for the two of us. You just send her down. I'll put pop-ons and headphones, or you just pop her in front of that the camera. I won't know the difference.
Oh yeah, cool.
She's like, those 5:30 gym sessions are really
They're
starting
really
to
working.
pay
Yeah, the
off.
abs popped.
Beck
Yeah.
Stefani.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't know that. So I'll tell you what we're going to talk about today, though. We'll get serious here. We're talking
Yeah.
about something that we saw on social media. I saw it on TikTok, as I always do. I find things on TikTok. I send them to Beck and say, this ruffles my feathers. And then I never do anything about it. But we want to discuss this particular video, not in any antagonistic way. This is not a takedown of the creator. Everyone's open to their own opinions. But this is about spaced feeding versus feeding on demand, which some very misleading content was created about. So if I pull up the video now, the video is of a breastfeeding and sleep, I suspect, consultant, coach, something in that area, where she has 2 glasses and a jug of milk. And this is about the idea of 3 hourly spaced feedings versus breastfeeding on demand. And I think the emphasis here is on the breastfeeding side. And so she's got baby A's breastfeeding every 2 to 3 hours, and we'll use a mil, I'm just making it up, but we'll say 50 mils. So baby wakes up, gets 50 mils. And then on the other side, baby B, who's breastfeeding on demand, woke up, gets 50 mils. Baby is tired, gets 50 mils. Baby needs to fart, that's one of them, gets another splash. And, all those moments of comfort that we see this baby's getting a substantial top up, all that to say that at the end of the 3 hours, when poor baby A only gets 50 more mils, the breastfed on-demand baby has got significantly more milk in the same amount of time. And you and I, we do not, in the nicest possible way, do not care how you feed your baby. If you are feeding on demand and that is working, rock it. If you're working to space feeding, if you're breastfeeding, if you're combo, if you're it doesn't,
however
it's
it rolls,
nothing to do with us, however it rolls. I think there's a couple of reasons this bugged me. One is there's always an agenda. Like, it was heavy on the breastfeeding and the feeding on demand. And the other thing is that it's just misleading about how much a baby takes at every single comfort sip.
Yeah.
So it implies that a baby is taking pretty much a full feed at every moment they latch on, every fart, every yawn, every bumped head, every moment that they just want to latch on, they're taking a full feed, and that is not an accurate representation of the difference between space feeding and demand feeding. And I should also say, we know, and you and I both breastfed, we know that there is more to feeds, breast and bottle, than just nutrition. None of that is up for debate. It's more about the misleading a visual representation of these that can cause doubt and shame and a hesitancy to make a change. Because if you've been listening to us, you'll know we often talk about anchoring in spaced feedings. It's part of the way that we work as sleep consultants when we are fixing a sleep issue.
That's right.
What was did that, first of all, is anyone going to understand my summary of the video?
Yes, I thought you wrapped it up beautifully for those who are listening. So the 2 glasses and, sip, 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 sip for the comfort feeder, and then just the sip once every 3 hours for the space feeding. So I think visually listeners will get it. It ruffled my feathers because I looked at the glasses that she was presenting to us, and I just thought that is that's not how it rolls. So when
Yeah.
we're working to spaced feeding, we're not dropping feeds, we're consolidating feeds. And I think there is a major difference. And so let's just say, so if you think about a 3 hour gap between feeding your baby, at 7 a.m. and then offering another feed at 10 a.m. Throughout those 3 hours, your supply is starting to build up. Volume is
Mm.
increasing. Your boobs are starting to get heavier, more full. And then you're going to put baby on and they're going to have a really great, solid, efficient feed. There's probably going to be very little distraction. They're going to jump on and enjoy that milk feed, and they're going to feel really sort of tanked up. To say that during that 3 hour period, your breasts aren't filling with more
Mm.
milk and that they're only getting the same amount of volume that one comfort sip is,
Yeah.
that's the misleading part. So it really showed the difference between it wanted the viewer to feel like baby was getting far less milk in with a spaced feeding
Mm.
situation. And we know that this is incorrect because we
Yeah,
work
well,
with
because if
mums all the time and we are breastfeeding mothers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But if you take a bottle-fed baby, whether that's even EBM or formula in the bottle, it doesn't matter at all. But if you if we work with a bottle feeding mother and
Mm,
they're snack, 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 essentially feeding on demand, or what usually I see is that because they're in a snacking cycle, let's say 7 a.m. comes around, baby ate 4 times overnight, isn't very
mm,
hungry, takes 60 mils. In order to try and finish off the bottle before the nap, 35 minutes later, mum offers the bottle again, they take another 20. And then right before the nap, they feed to sleep and they take 60 mils. They have not taken the full 240 ml bottle. Let's say I'll use a 7-month-old baby, for example. Let's
yeah.
say we'd be looking at, a full bottle at space timings. A baby is not taking the full amount every single time that mother offered the bottle, to the
Mm,
point where they have got stuck in this cycle because they are not taking a full feed. So we're constantly trying to top up, top up, top up, top up. And this is where your sort of mantra of tanking up versus topping up is the difference, or is the reality of the situation versus what's portrayed in this video. This is
mm,
not about dropping feeds. This is not about underfeeding. Like, that's just like a horrible thought to plant in any parent's mind,
mm,
that you could be underfeeding your baby with space feeding. The key word here is consolidation.
yeah.
So we are building up genuine appetite. A baby tanks up. They take this big, full, complete feed that actually satiates them to get to the next 3, 4, whatever the space feeding
Mm,
time is. It also, if your baby's even on solids, it creates a little bit of time and capacity and appetite for that, depending on how old they are. And then the cycle continues that they've got genuine
mm,
hunger. They take a nice big full feed, and you push on to the next spaced feeding. There is no way, breast or bottle, that a baby is comfort feeding a full feed at every single sip, which is what this video implies.
mm.
And I think it's incredibly misleading, but I also think it undermines uh, bottle feeding parents who are feeding spaced feeding, because it's
Well,
usually
they're just
a little bit
following the
more.
directions
They're
on
just
the
following
tin.
exactly, and then have a really content baby in between, and they just kind of move on with the day.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, hang
but
on. My
also,
content baby isn't content. Do I need to be
yeah,
offering the
should I have
bottle
been topping up?
7 times during this 4 hours? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
How can it be? Like, obviously, with bottle fed babies, there is a range of milk that you're trying to incorporate into your day, like a
Mm,
volume of milk. And so that it's spaced feeding to, create the appetite in
mm,
order for your baby to be able to take that kind of meals through the day. So there is a reason behind the spaced feeding. It's simply because if you want to offer the bottle too quickly, their impact is appetite is impacted.
mm,
So the easiest way to get the kind of meals in through the day is to create the space to create the appetite for the milk feed to be efficient and the volume to be taken.
mm.
Um,
But you and I just see it all the time. Because we will move to space feeding, breast or bottle, it just doesn't matter so long as the baby is getting a full and complete feed. And we will have mothers come to constantly saying, this was actually the biggest game changer here, because not only was my baby not clawing at my chest or asking for another, we moved through the wake window. Already they started to take a bigger nap, and I felt confident that the false start after bedtime wasn't because of, they only latched on for 90 seconds at 6:30. This could be genuine hunger. They know, oh gosh, no, that was a really great full feed. This isn't hunger. I'm going to settle something in a different way to meet my sleep goals.
Yeah. And can I give the example of my client from last night? We started yesterday, and baby was fed on demand. And our big change was to move to a 4-hour feeding spacing. So baby is 6.5 months old. And the final feed was we had a funny afternoon, so we did the third nap a little late, but baby was in bed at 7:45. So their final feed was 7:15. So baby was fed at 7:15, and then it gave the parents confidence to resettle the 9 a.m. Baby then didn't wake until 11:15, so exactly 4 hours from that feed. 11:15 had both sides. Now, we talk about this feed as the investment feed, the first feed of the night, the investment, really tank baby up. So instead of then waking 3 more times for another 3 feeds as baby has previously done, baby slept from that feed at 11:15 all the way through until 4 a.m., had one breast, and then went back off to sleep until 7 a.m. And mum was like, she goes, she goes, did you sprinkle some magic fairy dust or sleep dust or something like that at my house yesterday? Because that just hasn't happened before. But that is the power of, and we didn't actually do any sleep training throughout the night. It was just an organic switch to I'm feeling more satiated and content, and then able to do longer stretches. So that is the power. That's why we do space feeding, tanking babies up.
I think there was also the vulnerability with the sort of the emphasis on the breastfeeding part of this, the feeding on demand, is that we can't see the volume. Whereas parents who are bottle feeding can usually feel pretty confident because they've had the quantifiable volume go in, and then be like, you're not hungry an hour later. You just smashed a 240 ml bottle. Whereas there's this vulnerability that I think this plays on that, hey, you are under feeding compare with the spaced breastfeed versus feeding on demand. And that is inaccurate because exclusively fed babies can take beautiful, full, complete feeds and can sleep just as well as a formula or bottle fed baby. In my personal experience, at least.
No, it's completely true.
Yeah.
It's a myth to think otherwise, to be honest.
Yes, it's a myth to think otherwise. And I think there was also probably some smugness in the video that is what ruffled my feathers.
There was tone, underlying
there was tone. There was tone. And I think this is across the board with baby sleep. Yeah, look at me go. This is sort of the issue that I at least have in the whole baby sleep genre, is that both things can be true at once. You are absolutely, of course, you can feed on demand, and there is also a place for space feeding for breastfeeding parents. But to push an agenda it just gives me the ick. I think you need to be able to present multiple options in a really well-rounded way, and this was just inaccurate to me. You actually went through the comments, and then I had been too scared to, but I've had a look since, and it's divided. There are some that absolutely will double down on this, but a lot of people saying, well, try telling that to my my bottle fed baby. Also, and I saw someone write, and this also links into something that I think about it, is that someone said, well, my NICU baby, so they've been in the neonatal intensive care unit, has always been on space feedings, literally since the day they were born. And that's I've worked on so many neonatal wards, including NICUs. We space feed. We space feed some of the sickest babies. So if it's fine for the medical teams.
Yes. Yeah. Medical teams put babies on space feedings. But there was something so terrible about it. there would be no way.
No.
Uh, and one other thing to consider too. So, I totally understand. You were mentioning before it's quantifiable with formula or express fed babies because you can see it in
Mm,
the bottle, so you can
mm,
see the volume, and it can be really hard to have the confidence behind how much your little one is breastfeeding because we can't see it. So
mm.
when so for families that are comfort feeding, quite often when we move to the spaced feeding, mums will report back, oh my gosh, I was so ready at the 4 hour mark or the 3 hour
Yes.
mark. My boobs were ready. I was ready
Yeah.
to pop them on. And they will often report back like I've never felt them they're so full.
Yeah.
And then once you start sort of getting into that pattern of, okay, my baby has gone on, my boobs were rock solid and now they're draining them and
Mm.
they're soft and, we're all feeling good again, like that comfort is back. That brings about a confidence boost because
Yes.
there is a feeling that you get of being really full and then actually being drained
Mm.
that can bring about that whole confidence of like, yeah, that was a really good feed.
Yeah.
I feel good about that. Whereas when you're comfort feeding a lot and they're on, they're off, they're not really getting to that point. So that I think that can sometimes bring about, well, I'm not so sure. So I'm just going to keep feeding because I can't work out if you're hungry or not.
Or
So
what's a full feed? Because
what's a full
I've
feed? Yeah.
never fed more than
Mm,
2 hourly. What
that's right.
classifies it? Well, how does that feel? But it's also in the gulp of the baby where they're like, oh gosh,
Mm,
yes, this is such a satisfying feed.
yeah.
But otherwise, what's the point in, as breastfeeders where we like touch
Oh, yeah.
each
Was I
breast to
doing?
be
I
like,
think I
which
was
one was
doing that.
fuller?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that on another episode
Yeah.
where you like, this one's fuller, this one's waited long, this one was done on the second side. So yeah, I'm going to say, like,
Yeah.
that shows
Sometimes you
that
just have to like tap like
you've
around.
got to
Like it's
do a
a
little
funny thing.
grope.
Like, yeah. Yeah.
But I know that feeling from when babies have naturally slept through an overnight feed, and let's say they've gone from feeding
Yes.
5 hourly overnight, and all of a sudden at the seven and a
Yeah.
half hour mark they're still asleep, and I am ready to explode. They are rock
Yeah.
solid, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, do I need to wake a sleeping baby to get
Yeah.
some relief? That is just
Yeah.
case in point that your supply builds
Mm.
the more time the baby is off the breast, draining
Yes.
it.
Yes.
And so this visual representation of, oh, it's a full feed every time, and at the 3 hour mark, your baby that's fed on demand at every snuffle and squeak has had more is just not. It's just not how it works.
That's right. So don't feed into it. Don't feed into it.
Pardon the
It's
pun.
yeah. You caught me.
Gotcha. Shows I'm listening.
Yes, that's right. No,
Yeah.
it's really hard for families to watch something like that and then just to you know second guess everything they've been doing. Like it's unfair,
Yeah.
and to feel like maybe am not feeding my child enough is totally the wrong angle
Yep.
that they are going down. So we're
Yep.
just here to clear it up.
Clear it up. And as always, how you feed and how often and when
Yeah.
and that's not somebody's content to make like that in that kind of
Exactly.
misleading way. All right, we survived.
We got through this.
We
Yeah.
got through this. It's always
Mm.
hard to because we never want this to feel like a takedown, like us
Yeah.
v them. It's more about, hey, this is why this doesn't why we want to bust this myth or unpack this, because look, there are lots of different ways to do things, but there's also a lot of misinformation, and point of this podcast is to help families understand the why behind our strategies so that you can be confident about going to the night about what is a resettle versus what is a feed. And this sort of thing just undermines the work that we're trying to do.
100%.
So hopefully listening to this, you can just keep on carrying on.
We would love to have a little bit of feedback, actually, if it resonates with you in terms of we love to have a comment or two, because it helps us to understand if this is the type of content that you like to hear. And we can do more of these if there's anything that you sort of see out and on the
Yes, definitely.
on the channels, like
there's a lot out
just
there.
a little unsure. Yeah. We would love to help you decipher what's real from not real, or so
or
your
just our hot
feedback's important.
take, and then you can take it for what it is.
That's
So yeah, you can send us. We need like an agony aunt
Oh,
inbox
yeah,
where
we
you can
do.
send us your the things you stumble across or just tag us. Although we're really
Oh,
scared in comment sections.
yeah, actually, but you know what? Like the Nap Trapped Instagram page, people could send their things to
Oh
message us on
yes,
that
at
as well.
Naptrapped Pod on Instagram. We need
Yeah.
to try and get that a little bit more active. But yes, that's a great place to
Yes.
send it. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, they can be a really great springboard for some good conversations and unpacking without
Agreed.
contributing to the division. Hopefully.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. That's it.
All right.
Well, this has been a great app. Thanks, Sally. I think that it will really clear it up for
I'll keep
people for
sending
sure.
them to you, Beck. I'll send them to the
Yay.
Naptrap Pod
Oh, yes, because I'm not on
inbox.
TikTok for that very reason, because lots of things will just sort of send me spiraling. So I tend to sort of shield myself away from it. But
You're very
um,
sensible.
but yeah, no, it's always wise to sort of tackle these things. So let's get on it.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll
All
see
right.
you on the next episode of Naptrapped. And yeah, send through what you see and we can have a crack.
Okay. Catch you later, everyone. Bye.
Bye.